Thank you.
Thank you. Well, greetings. It's nice to meet all of you. I really appreciate the invitation. But I do not have the door closed all the way. Hold on. The kitchen is loud.
Welcome to Zoom.
At one point, Deb was with me practicing a speech, and there was a bird that suddenly took flight in my house, and I ended up screaming. So in any case, my name is Sara Gelser, and I'm currently the senator for Senate District 8. This is the third time that I'm running for this seat. I was first elected to the state Senate in the 2014 election. And before that, I had served in the Oregon House since December of 2005. So that time has gone really fast. When we come back next January, if I win and if nobody else resigns or loses that isn't expected, I will be the 8th most senior member of the Oregon legislature, which feels really weird. I don't quite know how it happened that I became one of those people that have been here forever. But South Salem is now a new part of my legislative district. What I'm losing is kind of the Philomath area, which is a hard loss. I've represented them since 2005, and they are very deeply connected to the Corvallis and Albany community. However, the district now goes up and picks up the kind of northern Benton County. Benton County was sliced up in a whole series of different ways, and it just edges up a little bit into Marion County, a little bit into the hills of South Salem, allowing me to pick up some new constituents, including Denise Bowles and the chair of the Salem-Keizer School Board. Neither of them filed to run, which I had I wondered if that would occur.
Yeah.
So my opponent, well, I will tell you about that when I get to question 4, which is the most reason why. So the lived experience that I have, one, I've served in the legislature for a while. I'm deeply concerned about human services and about people who just don't fit the norm. Anyone that is kind of outside the common typical path, that is generally where you will find me doing my work. I came to that. I'm like Senator Patterson. I'm the parent of an adult that experiences an intellectual disability. He's 27 years old. And then I also have 3 daughters who are all now adults. The youngest of them is 21. One is graduated from college. One is graduating from college in May, and one has 1 year left in school. And then I also am the proud stepmom of a 6th grade boy who is the son of my husband. And he and I were married last July. And my former husband lives here in the area. He's a CPA in the Albany area, and it's just an all-around great person. In case any of you go there and do that, many people ask us if we're siblings, and we explain, no, actually we were married for a long time. We have 4 children together. That is a little bit about my background. I would say in terms of the policy priorities for me, one is around youth in general and safety and dignity and equity of access in all child and youth serving systems. So that would include everything from our child welfare and residential care mental health system, where I've done a tremendous amount of work, including at the federal level, to really regulate these teen treatment centers. You can see some of that work right now. There are 2 podcasts that are running about this that I'm featured on. There was an NBC nightly news 2-hour documentary about a year ago around some of the work that I had done at the national level to shut down some pretty awful places where Oregon was sending its kids. And I'm really proud to be working right now with, of all people, Paris Hilton, who is actually a really incredibly brilliant businesswoman and fierce, smart, kind, compassionate advocate around kind of shaping some federal laws around some work we've done here in Oregon. Schools, making sure that all kids have access to school and the supports that they need to succeed. Kids learn in a whole variety of different ways. The first legislation I passed when I went to the legislature was a bill that made Oregon the first state in the country to have statewide standards for modified, extended, modified diplomas, extended diplomas, and of course, regular diplomas, which we had standards for. And that helped more kids be able to access regular education classes, stay in school all the way through. And then I went to Washington and worked with the U.S. Department of Education to make sure that those students could access federal financial aid to be able to attend community college. Many of these students may not be able to access a four-year degree, but they can absolutely access a career certificate or a trade. And we just really need to build up the capacity of these students, as well as students who have been incarcerated, homeless, are recovering. And then, of course, our juvenile justice system as well. I would say the second area is in general mental health, addictions, and housing, which I think all come together. It goes without saying that the housing crisis in Oregon is unspeakably desperate right now. I am heartbroken to hear about the 4 who died last week living outdoors with a car that came off the road with an intoxicated driver. I mean, just talk about bringing all of these dynamics together. We have so much that we need to do to get to the root symptom of how we can support people to be safe and secure. The answer isn't just to hide people and put them away. The reason that we see more people outside unhoused isn't because our policies have changed. It's because we have failed to meet the needs of people. What I see when I see this happening is just unspeakable, desperate human suffering. And I see an obligation for all of us to step up and address that. And there's no way to do that until we create mental health and addiction systems and recovery systems that truly work for people. And then the last that I would mention briefly, this is not the area in which I lead, but carbon reduction and addressing our climate crisis, I think, is a moral obligation of every legislator that stands up there. So although that's not the area in which I have the most expertise, I'm proud to serve alongside those who do. And I see one of the most important roles I have is to stand up and take those votes and fight for those pieces. Why I think I'm best suited to win in this race, I think the experience that I've had in the legislature, I think I've demonstrated myself to be a member that can get things done, both through passing legislation, whether that's strengthening supports and oversight in long-term care for seniors and memory care and assisted living, changing all of the abuse standards as they relate to adults with intellectual and developmental disabilities and improving independence options, creating a human rights commission, making significant changes in the education arena, and almost completely rewriting our child abuse investigations and response system, and completely reforming our residential care systems for kids. There are big things, and I'm always happy to step up and get them done. My opponent has not been a legislator before, or in any public office. I think the government experience that she listed was that she was her class secretary in high school. She formerly worked actually for one of the troubled teen industry programs, this kind of industry that I'm deeply concerned about. It was the Catherine Freer program, which was the subject of a federal probe due to some deaths of youth that occurred. It was kind of out of the Albany area, and lost her teaching license after telling a child with alopecia that if she prayed really hard, her hair would grow back by a certain date. So I don't know that those values are particularly in step with my district. The challenges that I have are that I have a lot of new voters that I don't know, and an entirely new county that I don't know well. I need your help. I hope that I can earn your votes for those of you that are in my district, but also your help understanding the issues in Marion County. I do think it's really important for members to be engaged in all of the counties that they have parts of their districts in. I'm very actively engaged with the county commissioners in Lynn County and Benton County, and our DAs and our juvenile departments. And I now have to I now get to launch into Marion County. And some of that I'm really excited about, especially as the Marion County Sheriff's Department has done some really excellent work as it relates to mental health response and kind of the co-responders. I've been out actually on some ride-alongs with them in the past because I was really interested in the way that they were working alongside qualified mental health professionals to deliver assistance to people rather than handcuffs. So with that, I'm happy to stop and answer questions.
Thanks, Sarah. I really appreciate you guys are so experienced and able to get that all into such a small space. So thank you. We appreciate that. That's a skill and a talent of itself. I want to open it up to questions from the audience. Yeah, Laurel.
Well, I'm excited. Apparently, I thought that I was still in Brian Boquist's district because I'm pretty sure it says I'm in Senate District 8 now, and because I cannot stand Brian Boquist. So apparently, he's in a different area. Then he's not going to be your opponent.
So the district that Senator Boquist represented was really weird. It kind of was this, it was almost like a circle. He surrounded me before. So at least in Benton County, many of the people that will now be in Senate District 8 thought they were in Senate District 8 before. So that's a little bit helpful. His district lines also shifted. And part of this redistricting was really to make it more not compact, but it really wasn't very fair to Benton County to have it sliced up into so many pieces. So the new areas that I have taken pieces that used to be Senator Patterson's and areas that used to be Senator Boquist. The majority of the space is coming from Senator Boquist.
Well, I just want to ask also, have you educated yourself? So since you'll probably continue there in the Senate, on the craziness of Brian Boquist and do you know about his newsletters and their weirdness?
I do. I don't know why I stopped receiving the newsletters because I thought that wasn't an option. I thought everybody got the newsletters and you couldn't get off, but they stopped coming about a month or two ago. But I've actually served with Brian for a really long time. He's been in the legislature as long as I have. And because we're both in Benton County, we're monthly together at Benton County meetings. There are things that Brian has done that have been really difficult. I am the member that refused to go on the floor at the end of 2019 after he threatened the police officers because we had this letter that said that he shouldn't. I was not afraid of him. It was just, we had staff that was afraid. And I think it's really important to support our staff. I also have before that and since then been able to work well with him on some things. He's an unusual person. I think things have become more challenging for him in recent years. And certainly the newsletters are fascinating.
That's a fascinating use of the word too. Nice save. Any other questions? Lee, did you have any questions about healthcare?
No, but I think we're ready, getting up to the top of the hour, and I think we're going to need to move on. I think she covered very well, and she's been serving for a long time and is doing a great job. Yes. Thank you for your work.
Definitely. Thank you, Sarah. We're so glad you could join us. We really appreciate it. Let us know if there's anything that the Marion County Democrats can help you as you need to get more familiar with our communities and stuff. Feel free to reach out to us.
Will do. And I see Marianne has her hand raised. Is that...
Oh, good catch.
Hi. I also have come from a background of education, but one of the things I wanted to point out for what you're trying to do with getting kids put in the right places for what their needs are, I didn't discover this until I came here to Oregon, that the state of Oregon actually has a database of every single job in the state with a proposal for how many they're going to need of that many job in like 5 and 10 years on. What I've always wondered is with that kind of data available, how come the schools don't use that to guide students into where they can actually get jobs by the time they get out of school?
And I know we're out of time, but if you shoot me an email at sarah@gelserforsenate.com, I left it as Gelser for Senate because Gelser Blue One was way too long. I'm happy to respond. There is some work that's happening in that area, but I'm glad to chat with you more about that when it's not another candidate coming online.
No, there's not another candidate coming online.
But we're just out of time though.
We're just out of time.
Sara, thank you so much for joining us. We really, really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. Take care.